Hello and welcome to the October 30th edition of the Thursday Night Thunder podcast with AJ and MMK. This is episode 30 of this series. I'm your host, Adam Jason Sinclair, and tonight, Michael and I will once again bring you the best discussion about the world of modern motorsports. The championship in the Congruity NHRA Pro Mod Drag Racing Series will be decided this weekend at the Strip at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, with race fans set for a finale that could come down to the wire. It's the last of 10 races during the 2025 campaign, and the final 4 races in Pro Mod's Race to the Championship, and the event is also powered by JBS equipment.
With a huge list of standouts still in contention, the race won't be decided until Sunday, with the possibility of a winner-take-all final round. It sets the tone for a thrilling weekend to close out a spectacular season in the Pro Mod ranks. This class has seen victories by 5 different drivers this season through 9 races, including 3 first-time winners in points leader, Billy Banacca, Mike Stavrinos, and Derek Minholt. The top 5 drivers in points are all seeking their first World NHRA Pro Mod World Championship. Bond has 6 career wins in the NHRA Pro Mod ranks, entering the weekend 15th in points.
Banacca leads Michael Stavrinos by just 11 points. Menholt, who won the most recent race in St. Louis, is third, 16 points back, while J.R. Gray, who dominated the regular season to the tune of 3 wins, is fourth, and just 24 points behind. Sidney Frigo rounds out the top 5 at 51 points back at Las Vegas, with nearly 180 points up for grabs in Las Vegas. Title hopefuls sit an incredible 11 drivers, as Mike Castellana, Mason Wright, Ken Cortorico Jr., Tukio Jr., Alex Laughlin, and multi-time champion Ricky Smith round out the top 10. Past champ Mike Janis is 11th, and sells an outside shot at the title as well. With a stellar 20-car field expected for Las Vegas, it will, without question, be a finish to remember.
Already a pivotal stop in the countdown to the championship playoffs, Friday's second qualifying session at the Dodge NHRA Nevada Nationals, powered by Direct Connection at the Strip at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, will offer even more incentive for drivers in the NHRA Mission Foods Drag Racing Series. NHRA officials announced that Ted Wien's Complete Auto Service will offer a special bonus for the low qualifier in Top Fuel, Funny Car, Pro Stock, and Pro Stock motorcycle during the second qualifying session, which is slated to start at 3 p.m. Pacific time on Friday.
The Ted Wien's Tricker Traction Award will give $3,500 to the low qualifier in the Nitro classes in the second qualifier, with the top qualifier in Q2 in Pro Stock and Pro Stock motorcycle set to pick up $2,000 and $1,000 respectively. It provides a thrilling incentive to kick off a massive weekend in Las Vegas, and championship hopes are on the line at the 5th of 6 playoff races in the countdown to the championship playoffs.
Ted Wien's Complete Auto Service is also sponsoring Top Fuel driver Kelly Harper during the event, while Jennifer Wiens and her 3 daughters race in Top Dragster. Jaron Settles will be driving the family's Super Comp and Super Gas car in the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series ranks as well. Set to celebrate 25 years of incredible racing and remarkable moments, the Dodge NHRA Nevada Nationals, powered by Direct Connection at the Strip at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, is set to showcase unbelievable action throughout the weekend.
It starts with 2 qualifying sessions on Friday, including the Ted Wien's Tricker Traction Award, 2 qualifying sessions on Saturday, and eliminations on Sunday, creating a wild and festive atmosphere that traditionally made the fall at Las Vegas race one of the top races of the NHRA season. Brittany Force in Top Fuel, Austin Prock Funny Car, Aaron Stanfield Pro Stock, and Gage Ferrara Pro Stock motorcycle each won the fall race in Las Vegas last year. The race will be broadcast on Fox Sports 1, including eliminations at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, and is the 19th of 20 races during the 2025 NHRA Mission Foods Drag Racing Series season. Number 1 qualifiers a year ago include Force, Prock, Anderson, and Herrera.
Top Fuel's Doug Coletta holds a commanding 141-point lead over Justin Ashley, giving the veteran an outside chance to clinch a world championship this weekend in Las Vegas. Other contenders include Sean Langdon, Tony Stewart, and Clay Milliken. Funny Car's Prock, the reigning world champ, is also in prime position following his Dallas win. He'll head to Vegas with hopes of a second straight title, holding a 112-point lead over Matt Hagan. Others to watch include Jack Beckman and Ron Capps.
It's a 2-horse race in Pro Stock as Dallas Glenn leads KB Titan Racing teammate Greg Anderson by 60 points. The duo has dominated in 2025 and will look to finish strong against a field that features Matt Harford, Aaron Stanfield, and Eric Enders, who has incredible 10 wins in Las Vegas. Richard Gadsden moved up a step closer to his first world title after winning in Dallas. He leads teammate and back-to-back world champ Gage Herrera by 72 points and Matt Smith by 105 points towards the stretch run.
The Dodge NHRA Nevada Nationals, powered by Direct Connection, will also feature thrilling competition in the NHRA Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series, which includes some of the sport's top drivers, and the Summit Racing Series ET Finals, where world champions will be crowned. The event also serves as the season finale in the Congruity NHRA Pro Mod Drag Racing Series. Fans will be invited to the Nitro Alley stage, which hosts Nitro School, meet and greets, music, and more. Vegas race fans can enjoy the special pre-race ceremonies that introduce and celebrate each driver racing for the prestigious Wally on Sunday, and includes the fan favorite Sealmaster track walk. The final can't-miss experience of any NHRA event is the Winner's Circle celebration on Sunday after racing concludes, where fans are invited to congratulate the event winners.
As always, fans can get Pit Pass, the most powerful and sensory-filled motorsports attraction on the planet. Fans can see their favorite teams in action and servicing their hot rods between rounds, get autographs from their favorite NHRA drivers, and more. They can also visit NHRA's Manufacturers Midway, which includes interactive displays, merchandise, food, and fun. The NHRA Mission Food Drag Racing Series qualifying will feature 2 rounds at 12:30 and 3 p.m. Pacific Time on Friday, and the final 2 rounds on Sunday, November 1st at 12 and 2:30 p.m. Final eliminations are scheduled for 11 a.m. Pacific Time on Sunday. Television coverage includes qualifying action on FS1 at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, and eliminations coverage starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. To purchase tickets to the NHRA Dodge Nevada Nationals, powered by Direct Connection, at the Strip at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, please call 1-800-644-4444 or visit lvms.com. For more information about NHRA, visit nhra.com. For more information on the Dodge brand, visit dodge.com. Are you planning on watching any of the NHRA event this weekend? I know it's a big deal out there in Las Vegas, and like they said, it's one of the final events of the season.
I am. I would really like to catch the whole thing. It's one of those things that I don't think about it until I turn on the TV and I see it, and I'm like, oh, I meant to watch that. So I would actually really like to catch it, though. I would. It's kind of odd. I feel like we're seeing kind of names that you don't typically always see at the top, and I think that's kind of cool.
It seems like
What
this year's
about
a little
you?
for the NHRA series, but I think it's been a good year, and I think that next year will be better because next year they'll have a better idea of what's going on in the off season. There's been a lot of changes in some of the teams this year, but next year will be bigger and better. So hopefully it's a good year, good into this year, and it bodes well for next season.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know, it's kind of neat. It's just one of those things that it seems like every year is really different,
Mm-hmm.
but it only gets better.
That's it. Are you a race car driver, crew chief, pit member, track owner? Maybe you're just a huge fan of the sport. Contact us to get your spot on the show. After all, you deserve your 15 minutes of fame, and we'd love to hear from you. I do have a few interviews lined up after in the next few weeks. I'm not sure if they'll actually end up being show interviews or whether they'll be features on my motorsports news and views page, but I'll let you guys know. There are a lot of conventions happening in Las Vegas in the next few weeks, and a lot of those people want extra publicity. There's also the Formula One race happening in Las Vegas in about a month, so that'll be cool. And some of those guys have reached out to me as well, which is pretty awesome. So we'll see how that goes. And it should be a good end to the season and a good end to the year for this show as well. The 2025-26 ABB FIA Formula E World Championship got underway with an official preseason test at Valencia's Circuit Ricardo Tomor this week. All 20 drivers from 10 teams ran on track together ahead of the season opener of the 2025-26 ABB FIA Formula E World Championship in Sao Paulo on December 6th. Eduardo Martara of Mahindra Racing set the quickest time of the 5,474 total laps completed in 6 sections across 4 days, with a time of 1 minute 21.493 seconds. The Swiss driver set the pace in the second test session of the week on Tuesday morning, with the entire field split by less than a second.
Reigning world champion Oliver Rowland from the Nissan Formula E team was close behind Mortara with a time of 1 minute 21.498 seconds set in the final test session of the week. 2 thousandths behind Rowland was Taylor Bernard from DS Penske, putting in a time of 1 minute 21 seconds. 1 minute 21.5 seconds on the final Thursday afternoon session. Rounding out the top 5 was Norman Nato from Nissan Formula E team and Nick DeVry from Mahindra Racing with times of 1 minute 21.502 seconds and 1 minute 21.586 seconds respectively. Josep Maria Marti from Cupra Kiro and Felipe Drugovich from Andretti Formula E. The 2 rookie drivers from the 2025-2026 season found themselves in the middle of the pack, a strong showing in a field so closely paced.
5 different drivers set the pace in each of the 6 sessions. Session 1, Pascal Wehrlein from Porsche Formula E. Session 2, Eduardo Martara from Mahindra Racing. Session 3, Dan Dictum from Cupra Kiro. Session 4, back to Montara from Mahindra Racing. Session 5, Norman Nato from Nissan Formula E. And Session 6, Oliver Rowland, Nissan Formula E team. Tomorrow, on Friday, Formula E and the FIA will host the second all-women's test, with 14 women's drivers from all 10 teams taking part in 2 3-hour sessions for the first time, spending a whole day of track action. Fans can keep up to date with Formula E's social media channels, website, and app, which provides session reports, exclusive interviews, and behind-the-scenes insights from trackside during the 4-day event.
Phoenix Raceway is turning up the volume for NASCAR's biggest weekend of the year. Multi-platinum award-winning country music artist Jordan Davis will headline the pre-race concert ahead of the NASCAR Cup Series Championship race on Sunday, November 2nd, bringing his signature blend of personal storytelling and Southern sound to the championship stage. Known for pushing the boundaries of country music, Davis has captivated fans with hits like Buy Dirt, Next Thing You Know, and the chart-topping I Ain't Sayin', which recently reached #1 on U.S. country radio. Now he's bringing the energy of his highly anticipated new album, Learn the Hard Way, to Phoenix Raceway for a performance fans won't forget. NASCAR fans in the Valley for NASCAR Championship Weekend are in for a one-of-a-kind pit stop, a 10-acre NASCAR Championship Weekend corn maze at Schneff Farms in Queen Creek. Before engines roar at Phoenix Raceway, visitors can take a scenic detour through the 3 miles of twists, turns, and photo ops inside Schneff Farms. Legendary Pumpkin and Chili Party open through October 31st. It's the perfect way to gear up for a weekend full of cars, big moments, and championship glory.
Raja, a 7-year-old Sumatran tiger, is wild about William Byron's NASCAR Cup Series Championship races. During a ceremony on Tuesday at the Phoenix Zoo, the beloved beast predicted that the driver of the number 24 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet will win the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Championship on Sunday at Phoenix Raceway. Now, I don't know if I can argue with the tiger, but I think that I think Denny Hamlin might have a pretty good chance as well. He's been having a really good end of the season, and when he has a good end of the season, it generally bodes well for him all the way through the year. So hopefully he has a really good chance on Sunday as well. I think it'd be awesome to have Denny Hamlin win. He's never been a Cup champion, so he deserves it more than most. William Byron, of course, he's had a lot of opportunities too, but I think that this year is Hamlin's year. What do you think?
Well, I've never really been a big Hamlin fan, so it kind of pains me that we're here, but I could see him winning it too. But I think it would be really cool if that tiger was correct. Like, how cool would that be if that tiger can predict the future? That would be so cool. But unfortunately, but I don't know because William Byron, he's done really well. So I don't know, but I do agree with you that I think Denny's time has kind of been past due, and with all the court stuff, I like they said in that article, it really it's kind of all aligning, and I could see him winning, and that would be quite the statement with all of their charter court stuff going on.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's part of the a lot of the motivation for Denny Hamlin this year is to try and win it all, so he actually has a better leg to stand on with the court of public opinion, which in many cases is more important than what happens in the actual court. So I think that it would be pretty cool if he won on Sunday. It'll be great for him, and overall, I think it'd be better for the sport if he ended up winning. Although Byron is pretty cool, I think Byron has he doesn't generally have the pull of fan support that Denny Hamlin has, especially among older fans and that sort of thing. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes. It could be somebody totally different. There are two other drivers, of course, in the field of four there that have the opportunity to win. Plus, it could be somebody totally different who wins the race on Sunday, and Hamlin could end up being just the points leader. All different ways it could go, and it'll be interesting to see how that happens. I know that there was a recent article that's been all over different places that Richard Petty isn't very happy with the fact that they're still doing the chase to the championship, and the fact they're having all these eliminations. And it's down to the four people. He doesn't think they're the strongest four. Uh, I'd argue that Hamlin and Byron definitely are the strongest, two of the strongest drivers in NASCAR this season. So, but it'll be something to see how it goes. And I think that next year there'll be some more changes in the playoff system. Um, but in the future, you never know. It could stay with the chase to the championship for a while, or they could go to something totally different. There's been a lot of discussion to make the season a little bit shorter again because it's definitely too long now. They don't really get much time off. They get the end of November, December, and then January they're back to testing again, and the end of January they're pretty much back to almost back to racing. So it's a rather short off season compared to what it used to be, and I think there's a lot of push to try and make it a at least a like a 36, maybe a 32 race year. So we'll see how that goes too. Next year, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But next year, there may changes, but in the future, there could be.
Do you how do you think Denny, because there's got to be a lot of pressure that he's feeling. I mean, he's in the championship 4 or whatever they call it now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got the charter stuff and all of that, so I'm sure there's quite a lot of pressure. Now, do you personally think he's going to be able to handle all that pressure? Because let's be real, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves too when we're in positions to do something really cool. So do you
Mm-hmm.
think he's going to do well under all that pressure?
I think he will. I think he's had a tough few years with the court stuff, plus his marriage that fell apart a few years ago and all that. So and his sponsors changes and everything. So it's been a little tough, but he's pulled through it, and I think that this might be his year to take it all away.
True. And what sort of changes? I've read that people are kind of unhappy with like the point system, and people are always unhappy with something, of course. But do you foresee changes come into like how they handle the championship and stuff?
I think that a
Next
lot of
year?
that comes down to it comes down to scheduling, comes down to money, and I think that the fact that they make it a shorter season it makes the traveling easier. So they might revert back to a normal regular season with the eliminate the championship thing. I think that the some of the sponsors will appreciate that. A lot of the tracks will appreciate that, and I'm sure a lot of the drivers will appreciate that too. So I think that maybe in the next few years, but not next year, but maybe 2, maybe even 3 years down the road, I think the championship might disappear, and it might just end up being a straight 32 or maybe even 36 race season.
Do you think could they still do their championship? Well, I mean, you'd have to change it a little bit, but do you think they could still do their system right now with less races?
I think so. Yeah, I think that might be a way they do it, but I think that they'd change. Maybe they'd cut the amount of races down a little bit for the playoff type thing. So I'm sure they have a lot of different ideas out there, and I don't have a lot of insight into that. Sometimes I get tidbits here and there, but I don't have a lot of insight into that. So I think that it definitely won't be the same as it is this year in the future, but it's really an open question as to how much change they have in the future.
Yeah, I can see that. And okay, while it's on my brain, who do you expect to see like moving up maybe I don't know, next year in the coming years? Who are you expecting to see in the Cup series? Just
Well,
just in the Cup
that's an
series.
interesting question. I think the Raja Karuth there, the guy from the Truck Series who's done some Xfinity races. Next year will be the Nation. The was it not the Nationwide Series? Next year is the Riley Auto Parts Series. I think he'll move up to at least do a couple of Cup races next year. I know there's a couple of guys in the Xfinity Series who might too as well, but I'm pretty sure the Caruth will be the next big thing for NASCAR.
I can see that. So other than points changes and potentially like schedule changes, do you see? And then this will be my last question, but do you see any other kind of big changes coming anytime near future?
Not well. That all depends on how the case goes. I know the last ruling that they had wasn't very good for NASCAR. It made it seem more like the judge was leaning more towards the front row motorsports in 2311's point of view. Um, in that NASCAR is definitely a monopoly in the stock car racing world, and like I told you earlier in the week, I'm pretty sure I agree with that. Um, the fact that NASCAR short tracks, as they call them now, are the big thing around the country. With the pretty much every stock car type series, it has the roots or connections to NASCAR. Um, from people who drive little sedans on the racetrack to people who drive cars that look a lot like the NASCAR style cars on a week to week basis. If you look at the Cars Tour, that now has a lot more NASCAR to it than it used to. If you look at the ASA, which they run every so often, ASA still has a lot of connections to NASCAR that are becoming deeper all the time. If you look at the ARCA series, that's pretty much a NASCAR series now. NASCAR owns the American Race Car Association. So, and of course, there's the Xfinity series and all the other things, the Truck series, and of course, the Cup series. Plus, you've got all the tracks. Most of those are owned directly by NASCAR too. Even the short tracks. A lot of the short tracks have NASCAR ownership, at least in part. So NASCAR is definitely a, if not a total monopoly, they have a controlling interest in stock car racing in the United States and, of course, across the world. In Europe, in Brazil, in Mexico, um, in other parts of South America, they've got their feelers out, and even in Russia, they've had connections in the past with NASCAR. So uh, NASCAR is not doing themselves any favors by expanding that way. At least if you consider the opinion of people like Hamlin and Front Row Motorsports there. So it's that could be changing too. Although it'd be interesting to see how they change that because it takes a lot of money to run that sort of operation. And even if you split it up, it still takes an awful lot of money to run that. As they said in the past, the way to make a little bit of money in auto racing is to start out with a lot of money. So it it isn't necessarily the best monetary uh, thing that people can do unless they're really good at it. NASCAR has proven definitely the Friends family and their organization has proven they're really good at it, but they also have proven that they've knocked a lot of other people out of their way to get that good, and that can come back and bite them. I think it probably will, and like I said, it'll be interesting to see how it goes in the future. Whether how much it changes, what they can change, and what just sort of disappears. So,
Wow, you're right. You're right. I never thought of it like that. You're right. NASCAR really does have their hands in a lot of things around, not even just this country. You're right. I never thought of the fact that there was like NASCAR racing in Mexico and stuff like that. Canada, there's NASCAR racing in
Hmm.
Canada. And wow, you're right. You're right. I never thought of it like that.
That's the that's definitely it's a plus for NASCAR right now, but it's definitely a negative as well, especially if you consider the fact that you're going to be racing a stock car, you ain't racing for NASCAR, no matter what level you're at, and that can be bad for competition. It can be bad for pricing. It's bad on a lot of levels like that. Even a few years ago, well, more than a few years ago now, like 10 years ago, when I went on the tour of the NASCAR shop there in Charlotte, they had the Hendrick shop. They were talking about that with the all the different equipment they use for the pits, and when they have that really small number of manufacturers that work for NASCAR that do the pit road things, you end up having a tire changer who uses a gun there for the to change the tires. That's not much different technology than what you're able to use at your local shop or whatever your local tire shop, but it's 10 times the price to get one. So that's another issue they've got for things, and they've had that for years. So it makes it difficult for small teams like 2311, like especially like Front Row Motorsports, to do any sort of business, and it stifles competition. It makes it a lot more difficult for teams to expand um, beyond the ones that are currently racing. So it's and let's face it, those people are not young men. The owners of the teams, with the exception, of course, of people like Denny Hamlin, who's not even a young guy himself. He's in his 40s now. Um, uh, the Most of the average owners are in their 80s. People like Roger Penske or the Jack Roush, that sort of thing. So these people aren't getting younger, and their futures are cloudy at best. I know with Penske, he has sons who've done racing. With Roush, he's got Jack Roush Jr., who's in his 30s. So, but when those people disappear, when the 80-year-old guys die, that'll be difficult too. When Hendrick dies, who's Hendrick is almost 80 years old as well, that'll be tough, and it'll be. I think that there aren't a lot of teams who are going to come up after them if those teams disappear for whatever reason. So they've got some issues, and they're going to have to address them. But I think they're afraid to address them, and I think that some of those guys feel they're going to live forever. So that's how it's always been. If you were the head of NASCAR for a day, what would you change?
I don't I don't know. I don't I don't I I think first of all it affordability, because if it was slightly more affordable, you would see more people. I don't know, more, make it more affordable. That's what I would start with for the race teams and for the people that you know are in like late models and stuff
Mm-hmm.
that can move up. Make it easier for people to move up, so then you have, you know, someone once said, if NASCAR was like easy or whatever, there would be more people doing it. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't agree with it. Oh, if it was easy, it's not really that it's easy or hard. It's like majority of racing around the country. It's just it's expensive, and so that's
Mm-hmm.
what I would start with. I would start with affordability for the fans too. For the fans too. Though that
Yeah.
Portland race, that was amazing. That was cool. That was the prices were way better than what I was expecting. Dang. But you got to start with, people have to be able to afford it. And like I said, if drivers and stuff could afford it, you would see more cars and more teams and stuff. And so I would change that for a day at least. And I don't know, maybe just some of the like stipulations, like you have to get a license, which that I totally completely understand, but make it not necessarily easier, but simpler for the people that's what they want to do. A lot of people, they have this dream of like, oh, they want to race NASCAR or whatever. Well, make it so, it can be a little bit more of a reality for some people. There's some people that could probably be really good NASCAR drivers, and we'll never know because it's just so, expensive and hard and stuff. So that's what I would start with. I would start with making it affordable. And then, like I said, you got to do something for the fans too. I'm not quite sure what you would do for the fans. And when I was in Portland, they sure looked like they were having a good time to me. So the fans were happy. The fans were happy. So just, start with making it affordable. So you see newer faces, newer faces. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Please tell me you do.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's definitely a thing you need to do is to make it a little bit more affordable and make it easier for some of the people because there's a like you said, there's a lot of people are trying to move their way up and it gets more difficult, which it should. Of course, it should be more difficult. But
Yeah, of
they
course.
should make it not as difficult for teams. It should expand. What I think is that they should do it like they used to, where they end up with a you have a sort of like what NHRA does, which is interesting. But you end up with more people. You end up like a regional team. You end up with people who are interested in getting involved if they can. They come to like a couple of races a year, as opposed to now where you've got the basically the entire field is the same all year, and it just fluctuates a little bit because you end up with certain races where you got 32, certain races where you got 36, certain races we even got 38 cars, and it goes up and down. And I think that if they opened up just a teeny bit, open up the rules, open up the make it a little bit cheaper for the teams to get involved, for owners to get involved, for make it easier, then you'd end up with a better quality overall. I'm sure you'd end up with some. You might end up with some fields where you've got like 45 cars trying to qualify for the 38 or 40 spots that they have open, and that'd be better. Um, because people would complain, sure they complain that if they end up getting eliminated from qualifying or whatever, but make it a lot more interesting for the qualifying, and it would push the entire competition level higher because people will have to work a little bit harder to get into the races. It'll make that more important, and I think that would be a better show for the fans, definitely.
I see you just summed up what I spent 5 minutes trying to say. See, I agree with everything you just said, 100%.
So if we let's go in, we'll talk to the French family next week. We'll get it all worked out, fix all of NASCAR's problems.
We have the answers.
We do. Yeah, I'll call them up tomorrow. There you go. Actually, my brother-in-law has done work on Mike Helton's house in the past, so I think that there you go. Just go from there and work our way in. That would be good.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, that not being possible in any way, let's hope that at least somebody from NASCAR is listening, because I think that in the past I've had some guys from NASCAR listen. I know we've had people from Formula One listen, which is awesome. But let's start small and say that if somebody from NASCAR is listening, they think we have a good idea, go ahead and adapt it. I won't even charge you a finder's fee. Just make some adjustments, do some things that make it better for all of us, and we'll all appreciate it in the future. Um, let's move on away from racing for a second. Tomorrow is the big day. Tomorrow's Halloween. It's a huge deal for a lot of people across the world. A big deal for people in this country. Some people are doing a lot more things than they used to. Some people aren't doing as much, which is fine. But there's still a lot of amazing events going on around town here in West Palm, especially. You've got a few more days of the haunted attractions out. You've got both tomorrow and Saturday at Fright Nights and at the Nightmare Village down in Fort Lauderdale. So if you haven't checked those out yet, why the heck not? Those are awesome. You should go down there and see both of them. You've got a few more days. Uh, there are also a lot of other events. Tonight, of course, is Clematis by Fright. So if you're not listening to me, or if you are and you've got like another hour, you can head out there down to downtown West Palm, check it out. That's always awesome. And it's a nice fall night tonight. It's in the 60s here, which is scary. It's supposed to be in the 50s tomorrow night. So it'll be the first time it's been in the 50s for Halloween in a long freaking time. So that'll be good. you don't have any excuse to not to head out. So hopefully, you have some amazing Halloween plans. I know there's still some trick or treating events taking place tonight as well as tomorrow. And of course, you get the trick or treating in your house, go door to door. People don't do that as much as they used to. They should. It's cool. It's fun. And I'm going to go and spend some time at my father's house because this neighborhood sucks for trick or treating. We only had less than 10 people 2 years ago when we did it. So I'm going to head somewhere where they actually got a lot of people show up. And so if you head out to Flamingo Park, be sure to look for me. I'll be the guy in the freaking scary hat, and I think I'll probably be wearing my I Scare Myself shirt. So there you go. But it should be a good night of trick or treating here in the Palm Beaches. Like I said, it's going to be nice and cool. Right now it's 73 degrees. It's dropping down in the 60s rather quickly. Uh, Tomorrow, like I said, it's going to be in the 50s at night. So be sure to dress a little warmer. You won't melt in your Halloween costumes like most people do here now. I remember 2 years ago it was 98 degrees here on Halloween. Got down into 80s at night, but at least this year it'll be comfortable tomorrow, 70s and 50s. So hopefully it's a good weather in your part of the country as well. Uh, what are your big Halloween plans? I know you talked a little bit about your little one's fear of Halloween costumes, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, so I would like to take him out trick or treating. They do like we have a small part, well, not where I live now because I moved, but in the town over, there's like a strip and it's just got like businesses. And so they shut down the roads and they let the little kids go like business to trick or treat. And then after that, people usually just disperse and then they go do, whatever it is they do after that. Some of them go door to door, which I think is still pretty cool. But he even I tried to explain to him he likes Shrek. He's seen, Shrek 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's seen all the Shreks, and even Shrek scares him. And so I tried to explain to him that Halloween is actually supposed to be slightly scary. Like that's kind of the point of the holidays, to be a little spooky. And he's not having it. He's not having it. So I'm hoping that he gets, I don't know. I'm hoping he wakes up tomorrow and it clicks like, oh, maybe I should try my costume on, because he hasn't even tried it on. He don't even want to look at it. And so I'm not sure, but there are things to do around here if you're from, Grant County and listening, but you probably won't see me, unfortunately. So yeah, so I don't know. But you know what? And last year, so I really do think it was the Halloween store, because last year he went trick or treating. He was Scooby Doo, and it was all fine. And since they went to the Halloween store, all I hear is, I know, like Halloween. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I thought it was just like maybe a phase because they went to that store like 2 months ago or something like that. So I thought he'd, come out of it, or not come out of it, but I thought it was just a phase. And nope, he's still very adamant on he don't like Halloween, and tomorrow's Halloween. So I think we're gonna probably have to count this one out this year.
You should go to Halloween stores all the time just to eliminate the fear of it.
Yeah, I guess so. And I seen what he's seen at the Halloween store, because I was like, wow, what kind of Halloween store did you take him to? And it was just like an inflatable, like big pumpkin. And anyways, it wasn't spooky. Well, to me, I guess maybe it was the inflatable part that makes it so scary. I don't know, but I thought the little guy was cute, and I think that's what did him in. So Halloween, like Halloween.
Time to buy an inflatable pumpkin, put in his room. There
I'm gonna put it in his closet. So when he opens the closet, here's your pumpkin.
you go. Yeah. One of the things
Really
that frightened
scar
us,
him.
which is one of the things that frightened us is kind of funny, is the the director of operations, Alex Rodriguez, who I don't think he's actually listened to the show before, but I'll tell him about it. His son and his daughter have both grown up around Halloween. They're I believe the daughter is 2, and the son is like 5 now, 4 or 5, and all the stuff they see in the Halloween thing is probably it's made them immune to it. They see the blood and guts and gore and everything else. And I've got the pictures of the little kid walking around in the in the room that if you see it at night, it probably scare anybody. But for them, it's normal. It doesn't matter. So it's all just one of those things. It's kind of funny. Um, so it's all about what you grow up around, what you're exposed to, and what the world is. It's because when you realize that most of the stuff for Halloween, it's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be scary, yes, but it's also supposed to be funny. You think, and you realize that the it's just trying to people blowing off steam, people doing things they don't always do, people trying to change their reality in a way that makes it more exciting to them, makes it more fun. And the sooner you realize that the it's all fun, it's all for fun, the better you are.
So what about you? Because I know you've been heavily involved with Halloween everything. Did you get
Mm-hmm.
that from your parents? Were your parents
Yeah,
Halloween people?
I think so. Yeah, things have changed a lot since I was really little. But what my mom says, my dad too. When I was my first Halloween, I was wearing a diaper with a little philodendron in the front of it, so I played Adam for my first Halloween. Ha 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 ha. But the and they've always done cool things. We always had stuff get out, and it was neat. Um, when I was 5, maybe 6, my grandmother and I built we worked on a robot costume, a big cardboard robot costume covered in aluminum foil with all sorts of gears and reel to reel stuff. It was fun. I won a few Halloween contests and that's one of my big memories when I was really little. Uh, that was cool, and all sorts of things like that with the Incredible Hulk when I was little. A few different things that are cool like that. The things I remember when I was in my teens, late teens, like 19, I believe. I dressed up as the Grim Reaper, and I went over to my aunt and uncle's house, and it was on Halloween. It was the day before Halloween, I believe it was, but it might have been. I went back on Halloween as well, and nobody knew who I was because I parked a few doors down just to sort of be funny and walk up this walkway, all full costumed and everything. And my uncle had no clue who I was, and my cousin comes up to me, who was 3 at the time, and said, "Hey Adam, how you doing?" So that was awesome too. It's
No.
always been fun. Uh,
Did you
Halloween's a neat time, and
decorate
I've
this year?
always decorated the house, except for the past couple of years. Um, Basically because it's difficult currently with my mobility issues with my foot and junk like that, and the fact I'm not supposed to be outside in the heat and too much. But next year I got plans, so hopefully. But and we've always had people here who appreciate what I do. Never had a lot of people here, not since like I told you about 20 years ago. We had a lot of kids, and then ever since then it's gotten less and less and less. But people always appreciate what I've done here, making things spooky and fun. So plus I do the community stuff now, which is neat, and it's good. It's all good.
Well, I'm sure they do appreciate it or did. They probably still do. You
Mm-hmm.
know, not a lot of people. Well, I don't know about over there, but people don't really go to that kind of extent over here for Christmas and stuff. You see all the lights and your Santa Clauses and all that good stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
people don't really decorate for Halloween. And actually, that's something my mom even said that she kind of appreciates the ones that do because
Mm-hmm.
there's really not a whole lot that do. So I'm
Yeah,
sure it did go unnoticed.
there's not a lot of reason not to. It's just it doesn't take much. You put out a couple things and it's fun. You put out a couple more things that's really cool. Even if you put a pumpkin at the street side and stuff, people don't do that as much either. So it's just it's kind of sad. People are moving away from that sort of thing, and they shouldn't. And I think that in the way the country is right now, where people need something to grab hold of and be happy about, uh, I think that's a good thing. I think it'll be hopefully it brings more people together, and it like I said, next year I've got plans. I've got lots of stuff laid out for this year that I didn't put up. So next year will be bigger and better, and Ready for it.
Yeah. Well, I hope you have fun handing out candy. Are you
Should
one that keeps the good stuff for yourself? Because I do. I do. I'll be honest, I do.
I would, but I have to look at my wife and ask her if it's possible now because I've got other issues there, and my doctor I'm going to see on Tuesday was going to be arguing with me about that. So need to try and be a little bit better. But I love nerds. They're not good for you. They're all sugary things. But I love nerds. I used to love Reese's peanut butter cups. I have those every so often still because they're not as sugary, but they're still even those are bad. So honestly, I used to be
Yeah.
worse, but there's the best thing is just not to even have it on hand. So you can look at it, but I'm not gonna. I'll be better. I'm trying to be better. Um, I sneak a Reese's Pieces every so often, and a Reese's peanut butter cups. But other than that, that's about it.
That's about it. Fair enough. Fair enough.
What's your favorite Halloween candy?
Gosh, I don't know. For the longest time, the Dollar Tree sold these like candy eyeballs and they were
Yep.
gum, but they were so good. They were so good. And then I went back a couple years ago and they completely changed them. They're not like peppermint, they're like fruity now. And I did buy a bag because I was like, well, it can't be that bad. And anyways, I didn't even have to chew another piece. I gave the bag to, I'm pretty sure, my niece and nephew. So that used to be my favorite Halloween candy. I would go to the Dollar Tree specifically for that Halloween candy because I liked it so much. And it wasn't even that it was just like candy. It was just, I don't know, it was just so good. And now I don't. Now I don't. It disappoints me because leave well enough alone, like you
Yep.
had a good product. So, but anyway, so that was my favorite Halloween candy. Now, though, I really like those cute little, I don't eat gummy bears and stuff like throughout the year, but I'll eat the little teeny tiny bags, the cute, cute little mini bags of like the gummy bears and stuff. But I'm not so sure it's because I like them, even though they're good, or I just really like the bag. I think the bag is what like makes me eat them because they're adorable. But yeah, but I do like nerds. So I'm surprised that you like nerds because I do. I really like nerds. But my favorite nerds are the Christmas nerds. I really like the like red and white and green. I think it's the like red, white, and green box.
hmm
But other than that, I'm not a real big candy eater. But if I have it, I'll definitely eat it. So there's that.
There you go. So it's a we're just a couple of nerds. That's all it is. There you go.
That's all. That's all it is. Couple of nerds with good ideas, NASCAR, if you're
There you go.
listening. Nerds with
That's
good
it.
ideas.
Have to share it around, and hopefully now that like I said, we've had lots of NASCAR people on the show before. Um, some reviews have gone better than others, but we've had lots of NASCAR people on the show before, so hopefully they're listening, and hopefully they can take some of our ideas and make the sport a better thing because that's what everybody's looking for in the future anyway. It's just something a little bit better, and hopefully everything works out between them and Front Row and 2311. Although I doubt it will. Hopefully they're able to work something out before the trial. But I think the case is definitely going to trial. I think it'll be messy and nobody will be happy in the end. But that's generally how things go every so often, and that's sometimes the best way to have change is to have the judge decide what's best, and then they'll work it out.
True. True. Okay, my final question for you. You've watched NASCAR a lot, longer than I have. I remember like bits and stuff from my dad watching it because he watched it like all the stinking time. So if you could take like bits and pieces from old NASCAR and kind of put it into future NASCAR, because you see that I always see people complaining like, oh, NASCAR is not what it used to be and stuff like that. So what would you take from old NASCAR to apply to future NASCAR?
Interesting. That's a good question. I think that actually one of the things that they have stepped away from a little bit. I think they should have continued is the pit road competition, stuff like that. I think that that brought in a better sense of how the sport worked. They used to have it 2 times a year. They used to have it during the in the before Daytona, and then again at the All Star race. So I think that's one thing I definitely bring back. I think that the giving away the $1 million was a cool thing when they had the Winston Million back in the day, just doing for an incentive for certain win certain races. They're more important than others. I think that's a great way of doing things as well. We sort of move things around and make races that are kind of a filler type race more important than it, and that makes them work a little bit harder for that sort of race. And the third thing I think I'd bring back would be, well, I'd bring back people who have personality. I suppose people who drivers who are able to engage the public and make it more fun. Um, there aren't any drivers anymore who have any sort of personality like Dale Earnhardt Jr., where you could bring the passion of the sport and just sort of an understated passion to something that he was a very laid back guy, but he was able to demonstrate to all sorts of people that NASCAR was special. And I think that NASCAR would definitely be better off. And he transcended different groups and things. Nobody uh, nobody today would know who most of the competitors are in NASCAR, but back in the late '90s and year 2000 and all that, everybody knew who Dale Earnhardt was, no matter what. So I bring back somebody who actually had a personality, who knew how to sell the sport to the public. That's the big one.
I
So hopefully
agree.
they're like, again. Hopefully NASCAR's listening. And the next big person, of course, is listening too. The next big grand champion of the sport. If they're listening, come on the show. We'd love to talk to you.
Yeah. I've seen one of the Ware brothers. He drives a 74, or at least he drove the 74 at Talladega. I think it was
Mhm.
last weekend. I'm not really sure. Anyways, he's on TikTok a lot. He goes, I'm not sure if you're too familiar with TikTok, but you can go like TikTok live. And anyways, so I've been watching him. He does a lot of iRacing, which I think is actually pretty cool. So I've found that kind of interesting. I don't know. It's almost worth you getting a tip. There's a lot of like people that do that. They'll stream kind of like their iRacing and stuff, but there's quite a few NASCAR drivers that I've ran across that kind of do that. Anyways, it's just interesting. I don't know why I just thought of that, but it's interesting, and you should check it out. You should get a TikTok account and you should check it out.
There we go. Yeah. I think I might have the app somewhere. I know they've Metro PCS likes to they like to push stuff out to you that they think is important. So I think they probably have that app on my phone somewhere. I might look at it eventually.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Or don't because I, I'll be honest, I spend a lot of my downtime, like when everyone goes to bed, I watch people stream. But I've been watching him a lot, and it's just, and I wonder if like some of those people that's like iRacing him realize they're racing like a NASCAR driver.
Yeah.
And I just think that's so cool. You don't know. I mean, unless I guess, of course, the name says it, which it very well might. I'm not sure, but I just think that's kind of cool. You never know who you're kind of racing with on there. I don't know. Kind of neat though. So you should check it out, and then you should start iRacing and go hunt him down.
There you go.
Show him how you drive on Thursday Night Thunder.
Exactly. That's the plan. There we go. Be sure to check out past episodes of Thursday Night Thunder by visiting facebook.com/SD Thursday Night Thunder. Hasn't been updated quite as much as I'd like to, but I have updated a little bit in the past few months, so be sure to check that out. Listen to previous episodes of the show on Thursday Night Thunder podcast.podbean.com. That's been expanded quite a bit lately. We're very pleased to be on iHeartRadio, Boomplay, Spotify, Player FM. You can also find us on Podchaser. I believe you can find us on Amazon Music now. Every so often, you can find us on iTunes, so that's kind of cool as well. Be sure to look for us. You can check out the show on YouTube at youtube.com/4plums. Obviously, I have not checked that out recently because I know we had some YouTube uploading issues, but hopefully everything's all worked out there now. That is a great way to listen to the show. If you have YouTube Music, check it out. youtube.com/FABORPLUMPS. If you'd like to support the show, be sure to check out the fan club feature on the Podbean app. The easiest way to do that is to go to facebook.com/SD Thursday Night Thunder. Go up at the top. There's a pinned post about that. Or you can always look in the Podbean app. I don't exactly know how to check that, but you can check it on the Podbean app. Look for this show here, Thursday Night Thunder, with AJ and MMK. I'm sure you can find that easily. And please support us with the fan club feature. I also invite you to check out my racing news site at motorsportsnewsandviews.wordpress.com. There's going to be a lot of stuff uploaded on there this weekend. A lot of new news coming up. As I stated, there's a lot of great content coming to Las Vegas for some of the conventions coming up soon. SEMA and other conventions, Apex as well. I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff for them, as well as the Formula One race coming up in Las Vegas. There's going to also be some news about the Formula One race from Miami on the site as well. Formula One race in Las Vegas will take precedent because I do have some news I might be sharing about that next week. Be sure to check that out. In addition, if you're a fan of South Florida and who isn't, be sure to check out the latest news and information about our slice of paradise at my travel blog for Royal Plum's Fantastic Finds. That will also be heavily updated this weekend. I'm going to do a few more Halloween type stories. I've got one more Faces Behind the Fear post, which is going to be posted on the Day of the Dead on Saturday. So it comes there. It's really good. Putting the final touches of that on as we speak. Be sure to check that out. As that can be found on Facebook, on Twitter, at X, at PB Happening. Easiest way to find that. And by heading to Royal Plum's Fantastic Finds. That's FABORPLUMBS Fantastic Finds.wordpress.com.
Thank you for listening, and we look forward to seeing you again next week in the Thunderdome as we discuss the major issues in the world of modern auto racing.
Have a great night and happy Halloween.